I spoke at Anarchapulco this year and last year. And last year, David Icke spoke as well. And so one of the guys I was there with, or one of the guys that I was hanging out with at the event, is a journalist, but he didn't know who David Icke was. I said, well, this will be interesting for me to see your reaction to it. So I said, he goes, all I know about him is that a lot of people call him anti-Semitic. And I go, it's interesting you say that, because the guy that was saying that was Jewish. I said, well, so watch it's a 4-hour presentation at Anarchapulco. So watch it with me. And then afterwards, I'm interested to hear your opinion. So afterwards we went outside and we were talking about it. And I said, so anti-Semitic? He goes, not at all. And I said, what was your impression of David Icke? He said, well, that is a guy who is talking about some very important things in a real logical way, and it all makes a whole lot of sense the way he explains it. I go, there you go. Do you understand now why people are so terrified of him? And he said, now I understand why the people in positions of power are terrified of this guy, because he's a nice older guy who's got a good sense of humor, and he's talking about things and he's backing them up with proof, and he does it in a way that's very entertaining, easy to understand, and makes a lot of sense. And I said, yeah, that's David Icke for you. He's not anti-Semitic. He's not pushing for this or that. And ironically, I was chatting with David and at the airport after Anarchapulco. We were on the same plane out, and so we were talking for a little bit. And then he was going to LA and I was going to Denver. And by the time I got home, he had been banned from Australia. He was going to LA because he was going from LA to Australia to start a big speaking tour there. And by the time he got to LA, he was banned from Australia by the country. Flat out, they revoked his visa, wouldn't allow him to go, even though he'd been there like 7 times. So it's like, okay, well, you understand once again that when you ban people from talking about these things, it only makes people want to dig into what they're talking about even more. So yeah, and I need to get more into David Icke. I've seen a few of his interviews, and I want to read his book along with your book too. I want to get to yours first, but I know I've heard so many people within this sphere list him as either their biggest influence or a big influence on their philosophy and work. He's with me. With me, it's John Perkins and David Icke for sure. And to have the ability to go from some dude who's just answering a question from my mom about what are you going to do with this information to then have my own show on his platform is like, I'm just so humbled and amazed that has happened, because I have so much respect for the guy and for his work, and he's fearless too. I mean, you want to talk about, they were relentlessly fucked with him in the UK for decades, and just everybody made him out to be this crazy person. The fact that he went through all that and didn't lash out and didn't just destroy people with, he could be on the "I told you so" tour now. And that was high times for that. And because the things that he's been talking about, the things about Jimmy Savile and the things about the pedophile monarchy and the things, all these things, I say, you're out of your mind 2 decades ago. Everybody owes David Icke an apology for this stuff, because a lot of what he was talking about in these books, and it's not like he just secretly talked about this stuff. He wrote books about it. He put the books out. They're out there. You can see when they're copyrighted, when the date is. So he's been talking about it for a long time. And at some point you have to just acknowledge that maybe this guy has a better source of information than the rest of us. And maybe he's a little bit more objective about it, because the mainstream media is garbage. And of course they work to protect the establishment. So if you challenge the establishment, they just sick the media on you. And the media does a very good job of discrediting you, making people think that you're crazy and making you seem like a unhinged lunatic, because the media is very, very powerful. But you can only do that for so long. When a guy can show a track record of just year after year, book after book, calling out these events well in advance and then having them come true, and you just kind of have to point. So I would say get into David Icke's work. You can find on probably on, I think still on YouTube, although boy, they don't like him, but you can find some of his live events, his live speeches where he's doing his presentations at Wembley or some other places. That'll give you a good condensed, if you don't have enough time to just sit down and read the whole book right away. If you watched one of those, they tend to be rather long. Like the Wembley one, it was like 8 hours. So they break it up into chunks, and like the dude's sweating through his shirt. He's so animated and so he's so into it.
Wow,
I just have a respect for him. I mean,
I think he's coming from a good place, and for people who don't have time to read the book or can't maybe get a hold of a copy, that is a great option, is to listen to Icke's his online content that is free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And get it while it's still there.
Get it while you can.